There we go. So, for all of you who are here now, again, welcome. Nice to have you here in this online space. Today we gather again for another learning session from the Regeneration Cooperation. It's the second learning session today of the spring season. As you may know, we as the Regeneration Cooperation, we started this new program, this 4-season-year program, during which we launch several or host several learning sessions and day activities, to learn more about all kinds of different regenerative practices, from farming to community building. And today is the second one of the spring, where we welcome Kim to tell a little bit more about this very beautiful, amazing social project they started, or project cooperative they started in Amsterdam, called the Waren. And before I'll give the floor to Kim, a couple of logistical things to share. We will be having the talk of Kim until 1:15, and then afterwards we'll open the space for every one of you to ask some questions, to open the dialogue. But before that, the floor is Kim's. Also, I would like to share with you that, well, since we started this year program, this is our first year of hosting the 4-season program, and it's there for everyone to join in. But I would like to make you aware of that we made a tiki for afterwards. No pressure, no need, but just an invitation in case you would like to donate. It's very welcome to donate, so we can further build upon upon this program and other activities. The link has been shared in the chat, so that's that. Are there any other? Yeah, so we have 45 minutes of presentation, 45 minutes of conversation and dialogue, and we would like to, at least at 2 the latest, close off this session. I think that's all for now on my side, and I forgot. My name is Sue, and I'll be hosting this session today. And Sophie is there in the background, as well as tech support, also on behalf of the Regeneration Cooperation. So we're here for you, and now I would like to give the floor to Kim. Thank you, Kim, for being here, and we're very excited to hear your story. So go ahead.
All right. Well, thank you for the introduction, and thanks for inviting me today as representative of the Warre Wooncoöperatie. There's a lot to tell, so I'm curious. Hope I'll stay in time. I have a big presentation made, but we'll see how far we get. So, how do we get to? Oh, okay. So I would like to guide you a bit through our journey of the Warre. So today I will be having this on the agenda. We'll be starting with, like, how did we start as a group, and how did we start to set up our cooperation. Then we'll be telling a bit about how we found land. Then I will tell something about the community building and the process, how we designed and built together, some words about the sustainability of our project, the finances, and how we're actually living together here now. So maybe just a very short word, like first, we're a housing cooperative, the first in the Amsterdam and the second in the Netherlands who did self-building. So there are some more cooperatives in the Netherlands, but they never built and designed their own house. So this is the first one of Amsterdam, and we actually finished, and we live here now around a year. So it's very exciting that we made it, and that we're living here. So yeah, that's really amazing. So we start now with how did we start this project? Well, around 10 years ago, or well, a bit 12 years ago almost, we started as a group of friends. We started with organizing some festivals, always on different places, on the basis of donations. So it was a stage for a lot of creative minds and musicians to build, perform, act, eat, and have fun together. And we were called konijn, which means rabbit. Some of our group were also in the Netherlands involved with different entrepreneurship projects on the basis of sustainability. So some friends were building their own cafe in the north of Amsterdam, which was called the Keuvel. And we started organizing some things there and also having some meetups. And with our collective Konijn, we went to different places in the Netherlands, but also to Portugal, where we started with a piece of abandoned land a friend of us owned. And we started with a permaculture project there. So we went there with, well, first with 20, then with 50, and we had a small festival with 150 people. We worked on the land all together and created, the start of a permaculture farm. And that was actually the first moment after being there for a long period of months. We started to realize that we actually wanted to live together, that we felt when we got home, for me also, it felt that it was, so much, it brought so much more to live in a community and to wake up together, to build, to cook together, to eat together. So we started to dream of having our own piece of land and to be able to create an place where we can live. This is a photo of somewhere in France where we organized an event. So that was the moment that we started dreaming of a place where rabbits live, which is a rabbit hole, which is called the Warren, Warren in English, which is where the name of our project comes from. So that was the start of the Warren. And we had three main pillars. We wanted to live somewhere social. So the collective part was very important for us. We wanted to live in a sustainable way and affordable housing. So that was the three main pillars. And we started thinking in a small group, like what kind of values come up with that. So yeah, that was the first step actually, that we started dreaming and we thinking like, well, we want people who actually choose to live in a communal space. We want to share a lot of space, we want to share a lot of stuff, and we want to share our lives together. We want to have an ecological and sustainable way of living. We also defined ways of how we saw that living together and how we wanted to see the process of realizing our community dream. So we defined that we're pragmatic, constructive, and we always found a balance in individual and collective interests. We wanted to create space for culture and creativity in the city and affordable housing. And we wanted to show that we can live in a different way and change our environment. And that was also an important goal, to do something, to make the world a little bit more beautiful in a small way. So we started with searching for land, and that's actually the first challenge, of course, because finding a space is can be hard. We started with different groups looking for either some land in the Netherlands or around, maybe some old farmhouses or transform office buildings. So we were searching in broad way, and then we actually, when we started searching that, we also heard that the municipality of Amsterdam was the first pilot for cooperative. So that's where we thought, well, this is an opportunity for us to see if we actually can make a plan and if we actually are able to, win this tender, because they made a tender for the first, for a pilot for the housing cooperative. So well, we thought let's just have a try and we see afterwards if we're actually gonna live there or make it. But then we won the tender already, so that was the first success that we already had. And an important part was that the municipality of Amsterdam was very much in favor of our plan, and also we were lucky that the municipality really supported the cooperative idea. So it can be that in other municipalities it might be a bit harder, but we thought, well, what did help us a lot was that from the beginning we already made quite a big campaign and a lot of story around it, so that well, if you build your dream and show how great it can be, people were also they were getting enthusiastic about it. And important to see the policies about the municipality and to really read like what do they actually want to see, because that helped us a lot with winning the tender, to really get into what they were looking for. So a short view for everyone to show a bit where we are. So if you see here the city of Amsterdam, we're a bit outside. On the there are quite some new islands that are made from sand that is used from the Markermeer. So it are super new islands and a newest piece of land in Amsterdam. And this is the first island that has been made, Centrum Islands, which is where we are. Here you see a short overview of a couple of years ago, and this is when the first buildings were getting there. And that's the corner where we are. So we're surrounded by water, which is great. So that was, well, the moment that we won the tender, we knew we're actually able to start realizing our dream. So that was the moment that we well, we also realized it was becoming a big thing. Before, like with winning the tender, we started working with a small group to just make a really rough plan and idea. But now we actually wanted to get the whole community together. So that's the important thing, is to first have the people around you who are able to realize this dream. So we were forming a core group with different specialities. So someone who's good at finances. We were lucky to have somebody who was an economist in our group. And well, I was more about the social side, so some community building and anthropology background, but also people who have more experience in sustainability and some about building. But for us, it was really the first time that we were doing this, so we didn't have much idea about how this whole process was going to look like. So we were not housing developers or anything. So it's also just learning a lot through the way. It was a whole study project. With this core group, we wrote our first plan van aanpak, so our first proposal and small ideas, and the first business case to see what we actually were going to build and how much it was going to cost. Once we had that ready, we started with information days. So reach out to all our friends and organize a couple of days to inform everyone about our ideas. So this is the plan, the first business case and plan van aanpak. We had a lot of sessions with post-its and timelines and see like how we're actually going to build a house all together. And well, after the information days, we wanted to have some commitment of participants, and we made up a sort of pre-selection process. So we set up a lot of questionnaires for people to really ask and dive into a bit why they want to live in a community, if they had experience with it before, how they would see that, to really see that the people who were part of this group were sharing in general a bit the same ideals and values. And for commitment, we ask for people to just pay a fee of, like, it was between 100 or 125 euros, very just for some starting up costs. We didn't want to let people have that as a barrier to join. Then we had we started with the internal organization structure. So we started up with different commissions. Everybody could be part of a group that they want to help out with. So either with thinking about the sustainability side of the building, about how the design sessions were going to look like. So, well, there were lots of possibilities, and the idea was actually that everybody, if you joined, that you would really participate. And at that point, we also formed a board, because we were becoming a legal entity, so we needed to have a board. So we set up the association and wrote some statutes. Well, what we actually found that the statutes are, you can write a lot in it, but we try to keep it, try to keep a lot of things also out of it, because the statutes are harder to change. And we thought in a later stage, like you can still have your house agreements or something, like everything that can change in like just normal meetings with everybody who's living here. So like huishoudelijk reglement, I'm searching for the word. But that were things that we thought it's easier to be able to change that, and the statutes are really something that you cannot change. But what was important is that in the statutes is written that it can never be sold. So that is what we wrote down, so that it will always be social and middle income house renting. We also wrote that in the association that everybody who's a member are the people who have a renting agreement. So people who are living here are part of the association, but when you don't live here anymore, you're also not part of the association anymore. So that's sort of combined. So a renter member, that's what you are. And then we started setting up our internal organization. So we thought about how can we choose ways of decision making together. We did some research about different methods, and we came out, well, we found the holacracy way of working together, and that actually really worked really good for us, because it's a way of really shared responsibilities. So what the beauty of it is that you have a lot of circles and everybody's involved in one of the circles, but you have a lot of decision power within your circle, so you don't have to agree with everyone on every single subject. And that helped us a lot through the process to be able to make decisions fast when they were need to be. So we give a lot of trust to the board that they will be able to make decisions when needed, and we didn't need all the members together to make all these decisions, because there's just a lot of things that need to happen pretty fast in the first 2 years. And we use a lot of sessions, like design sessions and Mentimeter, like just a way of online input from all members to be able to make decisions with the board. Well, we actually, we did a difference. So we had design sessions where we made decisions with everyone, and then on small things or tweaks, the board could make decisions with the input. a short overview of our journey and how long it took. So we started in 2016, and that were the first brainstorms with really rough ideas. Then in 2017, we started to write a project plan for this plot of land. Then in 2018, we set up our foundation, and we heard that we won the tender. And in that year, we started with searching for an architect and designing with all the members or the future inhabitants. Designing process took half a year almost. And well, then you have a lot of the municipality who needed to agree with it, some things you need to change, some permits like you all need to ask. And then we started with the hard thing in 2019 is finding a constructor. And that almost took us a year because, well, it's hard to find a constructor who would like to build a house which is a bit different than they're used to. And also we wanted to be affordable. We wanted to be very sustainable. So we wanted to build with a lot of wood. They were not so used to it at that point yet. It's still pretty new in the Netherlands. It's going super fast now. So a lot more houses in wood are being built. But yeah, at the point that we started, it was still kind of hard to find a good contractor for that. But then in 2021, we actually started building. That took, of course, a bit longer than we thought. But in roughly, it took 1.5 years. So it still went pretty okay. Then during the building process, we started with designing the interior and designing a bit more the social architecture for how we're actually going to live here. So that were sessions also about how we're gonna share like if we wanted to set up a food corporation, how we're gonna share cars, how we're gonna eat, what kind of events we want to host, those kind of things we were talking about during the building process. And then I can't see the rest. Yeah, in 2021, at the end of the year, in December, it was officially finished. So that was the moment that we were able to start with painting, with putting floors in. So that was when the whole community were able to get into the house and actually feel that it was going to be our place. Before it was really a building construction site. And then in February 2023, people were moving in. And in April, we had our opening party. So that was last year, around a year ago. So to go into a bit more, how did we design this? How did we started designing it all together? Well, when we first started with our ideas, of course, our dreams were very big and we were really broad thinking. And then we found out that when you get a piece of land or a plot of land from the municipality, there are some guidelines and rules of how high it can be, where well, a lot of things you need to take into account. So we knew that there were boundaries, but within the boundaries, there was also still a lot of things possible. So together with our architect, we started designing with the 50 people, so with the whole group. At that point, not everybody was really sure if they were going to live there yet, because like the building was still supposed to be finished in 3 years from that moment on. But yeah, people, never know what's happening with you in 3 years. So it was a group, but we were not really sure who's going to live there and who's going to live where, in which apartment, which had a lot of advantages because we thought it's nice for just people to join the process and also to have a general, just had a lot of different ideas from everyone about how it should look like. So we really choose to do it with a big group instead of just a couple of people designing it. And it helped that people didn't know exactly on which floor, in which room they were going to live, so they didn't have their individual preferences. So everybody was thinking more for the collective. So in 5 months, we had 8 design sessions, which were guided by a group, one of our circles, who thought about the sessions to always make them playful and creative. And the architect was there to do everything with the input that we gave. So these were really a lot of fun and really nice to think together about everything which you like to have in the house on the square meters that we were allowed to build. So what we came up with out of that is a house with, I actually didn't start with that, but there are 36 houses in our building, which consist of there are different topologies. So you have 12, we call them free willies. It's like a small, a room around 20 square meters, and they share kitchens and bathrooms. The other topologies, so we have starter rooms, different sizes, and family apartments, and they all have their own kitchens and bathrooms. Then we really wanted to have a lot of collective spaces. So 1/3 of our building consists of collective spaces, which is in total 800 square meters. And we needed to combine a couple of the ideas that we wanted to have. So we have our main, like a woonzaal, like a main entrance hall, which is also a bar, but it can also be a theater stage. So it's a different combined area. Then on every floor, we have 5 floors. On every floor, there's a kitchen where that whole floor can eat together. So that's sort of really your meetup space for a bit of a smaller group. So around 10 people on every floor. We have shared washing facilities. We have a space for yoga or concerts or working out things. We have a co-working and chill area, a silence room, maker space, music studio, a lot of things. Guest rooms, shared bathrooms with baths. That's what we really like to have. Here you see a small picture of the different typologies. So smaller rooms, starter, which is really like a studio with a small bathroom, and family apartments with 2 or 3 bedrooms. The main idea was that we wanted to have not all the collective spaces on the ground floor, but actually, as the green line shows, through the building, so that makes really easy for people to meet up. So this is where you see through the building, all the green spaces are the community spaces for everyone in the building. So on every floor, there's a community space to be found. And then the purple ones are the community living rooms. So that ones are the ones accessible for the people living on that floor. And then we had also the dream to make the building not only livable for us, but also for other inhabitants. So we made a really, it's becoming greener and greener now, a green facade with places for different birds and other animals. Lots of spiders, they're living now to live there. And on the top you see our roof terrace and our greenhouse. This is the idea when all the birds will start living around us. I don't know, need to change this one. Then we have, the designing, we had a couple of principles that we really took into mind. So, the main principle is about sharing spaces and sharing things. Also, we really designed with movement through the building. So we really looked at the community areas and that they're really accessible for everyone and easy, so that to get through, but also really open to meet each other. So that, for example, if you put your bike, the elevator, we do have an elevator because that's needed, is a whole way on the other side, but the main stairs, which bring you through all the building, is next to the place where you park your bike, so that it's really a way that everybody, we hope that everybody that way would take the stairs, because the stairs is also a meeting place, instead of going to the private elevator one. And the main entrance is really sort of we call it our town hall. So the place where everybody meets up and gets to know each other. So it's, yeah, creating a small town within the bigger city. We also designed it that the family apartments are part of the living or of the kitchens on every floor, because we thought as a family, it's easier to sort of stay a bit in your own family apartments, and we wanted to be able to let them really still be part of the community, so that even if your baby sleeps, you just open the door and you can still join dinner with other people. And we always thought of the collective first and private second. So for example, also with sunlight, we looked at where will the sunlight come in and let most people enjoy that sunlight. So community spaces have the most access to the most sunlight. So these kind of things are taken into account when designing the building. And also designing for future residents. So not for, we really ask everybody who participates in the process to not think about what you personally like, but what would people in general like, and what if this building is here, we're building for the future. So for 50 and 100 years from now, there's still people living there. So really think further than yourself. Then we started after the design with the building process. So we first had the SOVO, DO, that's sort of the stages. So from your design, so first it's like sketch, then it's temporary design, definitive, and technical design. Then we did search for the contractor and team. And what was important also is defining the work relations. We chose to be part of the building team and also be the building manager. Our architect was also in the building team, which is really something which was super useful. So that's always very good to have. But we would also advise other people to not do the building managing yourself, because it was so much work and we didn't know anything about what was going on. So we'd really advise future people to get a builder manager to help you out with that. Negotiations and signing the contracts, very detailed. It's super weird about everything that needs to be in the contracts, like every place where the electricity needs to come out and where the height of all things need to be decided upon. Otherwise, they're not going to build what you want them to build. So that took us quite some struggles and hard negotiations, which was a hard moment for all of us. Like at some points we thought it's not going to happen. They don't want to build what we want to build. They're asking for 100,000 euros more. We don't have it. Well, it was a hard process, but in the end, we managed to get a contract and they start building. And here are some pictures of the first render, so the ideas, and then how it's looking now. So this was the idea of the garden and the balconies, and this is how it's looking now. Or actually now it's greener. This is from last year. This was the idea of the town hall, the main entrance and meetup space, and this is how it's looking. So a lot of things were actually really nice that we still have this huge room. We had a lot of wood still. Of course, with the negotiations, some things were different, but the main ideas are still there. This is from upside down to the main hall. Outside, this was the render, and this is how it's looking. This is also last year. Now it's already way greener. Should have a new picture. I'm looking at the time because I still have a lot to say, but I think let's see. I will go a bit short about sustainability and then a bit about finances after that. So sustainability.
Maybe we can do a little temperature check, because I at least am enjoying your presentation a lot. So can everybody either say like thumbs up, like it's okay if we prolong the presentation, or like no, I really want to dialogue and open up discussion. Yeah, I see a lot of thumbs up. So please just continue and don't mind the time a little bit.
Okay, thanks. Great.
Okay, awesome.
All right, so about sustainability, we had a lot of dreams, of course, how sustainably it should look like. So our first dream was that we wanted to build everything in wood. That became something that was, yeah, at that point a bit too expensive, because we wanted to be able to also live in affordable houses. So we made some deals. We still have a lot of like the main structure, so the poles that are the constructive side, that are holding up the whole building, are made from wood. And almost all walls are made from wood except for two main ones. In the middle, they were needed to be made from concrete, unfortunately, and the floors were made from concrete. I think if you would build right now, you could do it, because wood's becoming more of a more general thing already. Then we had the facade, so the outside of the building, and we wanted to use also reused materials, so a lot of circular materials. So we were having a different team who were looking into what materials you could reuse, and we used mooring poles. I have a picture actually here. And here, so like those are just, it's awesome wood, and it stays for super long. So we actually got a lot of those and went to somebody to cut them in pieces so we can use it for our outside, which was a lot of calculations of how many we needed, and how it was actually going to look like. A lot of work for ourselves. We needed to go there to see which ones were good enough. And we had besides that, we had for these are the poles. I think you saw them on the picture, and then the whole, like the side of it, is made from dike walls, which are reused. So it's really beautiful, I always think, to be able to reuse as much materials as you can. Then energy-wise, we have an EPC negative, which means that we're like our building is energy positive, so we actually create a bit more energy that we need. That's because we have quite a lot of, like, the whole roof is full of solar panels, almost 200. I think in Amsterdam you need to have like neutral, you need to be energy neutral, but we're making a bit more, so that's great. And we have our own VKA system with energy poles, so it can go all the way into the ground really far, and that's where energy comes from. And we have like a warm pump to heat up the building and also cool down in summer. So that's great when it's becoming hotter these upcoming years. Well, biodiversity, I said something already about the green and living facade, designed for more biodiversity. Especially on this new island, you see that there's green is still lacking a bit. So it's great to be able to create some space for that. And water, it needs to be, really depends on where you live in Europe, of course, but in the Netherlands it rains a lot. So that your building is rainproof is very important. That means that you need to be able to, all the rain that comes on your building, you need to bring it back into the earth. So we have a way of storage on our roof. So all the rain, we have a certain amount of liters that is storage on the roof, so that we're able to water all the plants on the side of the facade. And the rest of it will go into the garden, into a wadi. So half of our garden is actually just for letting the water go back to the earth. Well, this one we went through the materials that we used, the gathering of all the things, and yeah, more extensive but bit too detailed picture, I think, of all the water systems. But the main thing is, yeah, that we want to reuse all the rainwater that's been used. And this is the solar panels and the energy poles. Here you see how they're underneath the building, which is also, well, because we're building on sand here, the poles need to be very deep into the ground to be able to make the building stable. Yeah, this is an overview, well, in Dutch, of the sustainable measurements that we took. So the wood, energy, poles, wood frames for the windows, recycled materials, rainproof. Then about the finances, you would all think now, well, this sounds all great, but how are you going to pay for it? That's what we ask ourselves. The actually thing that you need to start with, of course, getting your business case, and seeing how much your ideas and dreams are going to cost, and how are you going to get all this money together. So first, a short more explanation about our system. So the association that we set up owns the land and the building, and every resident is a member of the association. What I said before is that in our statute said that the property can never be sold. That's also that was one of the things that the municipality decided upon as well. So in our statutes, it says that the municipality needs to agree if we want to change our statutes, and a municipality will never agree that it will be sold. That's how we made it. I think for other people, there are different ways to be able to put in your statutes that it will never be able to be sold. There's also there are organizations who help out with this stuff, so that this is a way that it never becomes a speculation object, and it was outside the housing market, so that it's forever social and middle rent houses, housing. And because everybody who's living here is also the owner, we never have an incentive to higher the rent. Only every year we need to do some tweaks when there's a lot of inflation, but for the rest the rents stay around the same, which is also great, because for now it's affordable to live here, but in around 10 years it's becoming way cheaper because all the rents are going up and we stay the same. So that's that's super that's great to be able to decide that on yourself, that there's not another person who's deciding upon your rent. And for just for an overview, it's social middle rent, that's something we have in the Netherlands. There's a certain, that's by the municipality, it's a certain limit that the rent can be. So for us, the rent for the small rooms is for around 500, and the family apartments at around 12 or 1300. So that's the range of rent that we're paying. Which includes, of course, everything that you have access to. So here, how much does it cost? So just an overview of the cost. So the main cost, you see 3/4 is about the building. So that's the contractor who's spending it for you. So that's why these contracts are very hard, because you're talking about millions. Then I'm not the finance person, so I'm seeing a little bit. So this is the VAT, construction cost, the erfpacht. Well, that's because, that's something with Amsterdam that we're not officially owning, but we're having the land from Amsterdam. We need to pay the municipality a bit of that. And then you have only a small part is for the architect and advisors. This is for permits and stuff, and the green facade. So how did we get the finance together? We have our biggest loan is from the German bank, actually. When we started the project in the Netherlands, as I said, it was still quite a new phenomenon. So people were like, oh, housing cooperative, I don't know. And we have some green banks like in the Netherlands, like the Triodos, for example, but they were very slow and yeah, just didn't really wanted to start with us at that point. So we went to Germany because we heard that there, well, the housing cooperative is a lot more common there. So they invested almost 75%. Then we had a loan from North Holland, a participation fund of sustainable economy. And we did a crowd funding, and we had some subsidies. So that's mainly how we paid for it. This is the others. So main part is subsidies, sustainability fund, and obligations. So yeah, the obligations with the German bank, they were really affordable as well. They had like 2% rent, and then the participation fund is a bit bigger. So that's the first one that we're trying to pay off right now because they are asking for a bit more rent. For the crowd lending, we came up with almost 400,000 euros, and that were obligations. So we had, yeah, for 250 euros, people could get a loan or give us a loan. Actually, they get some rent, and they get their money back. I actually don't see an overview, but in general, the whole project costed 8 million, just to have a sort of a idea. Then we had quite some subsidies for always good to look in your municipality or where you are, what kind of subsidies there are, because there are quite, yeah, can be quite a few. So we had like a subsidy for collective self-building, for sustainable self-building, for sustainable initiative, urban agriculture for a greenhouse, and small-scale circular initiatives. So it's really good to see what's out there because it can help you a lot. And then how we're going to pay back this is, well, during the living phase, we have rent. So all the rent will pay back all the loans. Most of the money from the rent will be to pay back the loans. And then, well, we're reserving some money for maintenance of the building. Then is, of course, the question, which we started asking ourselves, what will happen when all the loans are being paid back? That will happen in around 30 years. And we come up with a system which we call in Dutch the aanspaarmodel. I'm called now saving model, which is the idea that everybody who's now a member, so a renter, that with your renting contracts, you sort of give a loan to the association, and in around 30 years, the association have money left, and they start paying back people who lived here. So you will receive around 40% of your rent back, which is, I think, really a great system because it's sort of, yeah, comes up with the bridge between buying and renting. So people who are like our group, a lot of people are not able to buy a house. So it's just also a shame when all your rent's just floating away. And in this way, you're still investing it in a way or still getting part of it back. And we found it way, yeah, fairer than that people, well, when people in around 30 years can live here for free, that feels a bit weird. Like maybe I live here for 20 years, and then people who come after me will live here for free. And in this way, it's fairer because everybody, yeah, you're sort of like, if I live here for 5 years, you get back your rent for 5 years. So that's the system that we came up with. Well, I think we're almost there. So yeah, these are just some challenges and general tips. So challenges we've really faced in the beginning is the finances of the plan cost. So at the beginning, when we already had to search for an architect and make a plan, do some budget, business case plannings and reviews. We didn't had any money yet, because if you have a bank, they only giving you the money at the moment that you have a formal agreement, that the place is going, that you're actually, if you have a formal agreement with a contractor, sorry. So that's when the money comes in. So before you found a contractor and actually have signed that it's going to be built, you don't have any money. So the first year it's quite hard, but right now it's becoming easier in Amsterdam because they give a loan, and also in South Holland and in Gelderland you have subsidies for that. So especially for the planning, it's becoming a bit easier. Searching for the other loans was also a bit hard, but it's also more options, and there are also more Dutch banks now interested. So I think the Rabobank is also now investing in the second cooperative that is starting to build. So that's great that it's becoming easier. Then challenge also was to make an overview of the incomes and spending for the coming 30 years. It's super hard to guess these kind of things, so really make sure that you find someone who helps you out with that. And also tip, really have a dream team together with who you want to, if you want to start a project like that, make sure that you have someone who does the finances, someone who knows a bit more like legal things. We really struggled with legal difficulties. The municipality says, no, this can't be possible, you can't build this or you can't do that. But if you know a bit about things and negotiate or try hard, there are always options. So find someone who can help you out with that. Project managers, negotiators, it was a lot of hard negotiating. Community builder, and mainly just people who are really enthusiastic and are going for it, because it's costs you some work, but once you're, it's also a really fun process. And then some other tips, be transparent and show that you know what the risks are, show that you can meet your duties also to the bank and municipality, ask for help and advice. There are a lot of places in the Netherlands that can help you out with that. Start with the bank who helps you. Like the money is important to have in the beginning. Be professional, talk to the right people, start with a good group, and really trust each other. That's super important. Then final thing about living together, because we're actually living here now, which is super great. And it's really, I think for a lot of us, super a dream, with amazing breakfast on the roof, celebrating Christmas together, having clay classes downstairs. A lot of things are happening, and all the communal spaces are being used. We're setting up some program things also for the neighborhood, starting with that right now, so that we can also open up and people can come and join to some house concerts and other things that are happening. So I really want to be open towards everyone. I think that was it. So here's more some links for other for our website and other foundations who are helping out with cooperatives in the Netherlands. That was it.
Wow, Kim. Thank you. That's amazing and incredible to hear what you've accomplished and built together. It's really, really cool.
Thanks. I'm seeing how I can come back to you. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I can imagine there are so many questions and reactions to what Kim has been sharing. So I would like to open the floor and the space to engage. Meanwhile, I saw a question of Marije coming in during your presentation, Kim. She was asking something, a financial question. How about what if your income in the meantime exceeds that middle income barrier. I don't think you were talking about the finances before that, but maybe you can say a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so indeed, like the social and the middle income is only needs to be checked the moment that you start living here. So that's in the beginning when you're living here, and of course you start to earn more. That's fine. There's not a that's totally fine. Doesn't matter anymore if you're like that happens. Life happens. So
Yeah.
you earn more. So only the beginning there will be check. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And Marije has another question. Was it a full-time job for the core team?
Yeah, so that's a good question indeed. It was actually, we really underestimated it. In the beginning, we thought like, oh, this is so much fun. We're going to build everything that we want together. And then it turned out to be just also like, especially in the middle, like in the beginning with like designing and architect, it was a lot of dreaming and a lot of fun. And then the building process and the contractors and all these details, it was just really work actually. We all did it outside our jobs. So it was, I would really advise everyone to like take a day if you can, like don't do it in the evenings and in the weekends. We struggled with some burnouts, and it was more than we thought. So only after 2 years people started working a bit less to have a bit more space for this project. But it's good to take that into account. And also because at some points like we had a big group, but some things like in this building process you have like personal contact with the contractors, and those kind of things are just really hard to give to other people in the group. Like it's only just like a core group who is doing that whole process. Like it's not something that you can delegate all the time. So it's if you can, it's not full time, but if you have 1 day per week, I think that's for around 5 people, that's the time it would take. Yeah, for sure.
Mooi. Kunnen we vragen stellen?
Hans? Ja, zeker.
Ja, want nou sowieso ontzettend bedankt voor deze zeer informatieve presentatie. Voor de duidelijkheid, wij zitten in Rotterdam met een club senioren die een community willen gaan bouwen. Niet alleen gericht op wonen, maar ook op werken. Want het is natuurlijk een heel ouderwets idee dat je op 65 ineens achter de geraniums gaat zitten. Dat is natuurlijk volledig outdated. Sorry, I have to talk English, excuse me. So I'm from Rotterdam, and we are a senior community who are building on a building where we can live and work. So thanks a lot. What was especially interesting was your holacracy. I'm going to Google that because that's holacracy. Yeah, very, very interesting, because we are in the middle of all kinds of processes and super democratic, and then it doesn't work. You have to have a decision process. So thanks for the inspiration. I have some questions.
Yeah.
Small question. A lot of wood in the building. So how about fire danger?
Oh, yeah, actually, well, it's all how do you say it? Like fireproof. There's a it really depends, but the wood that you're using for construction is actually safer, I even heard, than sometimes with concrete walls or anything, because then like with wood, if it starts burning, then it goes super slowly and they're super thick. And with concrete, it can sometimes just really fall apart. So it's actually it's fireproof and
Okay. Interesting. Thank you. I
yeah.
didn't know that. I tried to Google it, wood and wooden buildings, because it's really modern. So thanks for the information. And then a legal question. You're talking about that renters get their a part of their rent back in a few years. How about this rental subsidy in the Netherlands? Because in fact, if you say I pay 600 per year, per month, but you don't pay 600 per month, you get money back. How is the local community regulation about that? Because in fact you are a little bit, yeah.
That's a good question.
I'm a lawyer, so I have these legal questions. But
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, well, yeah, like so we actually just like we came up with this system, and it well, we have some people worked it out. We had all these agreements right now, but this is I'm not sure if they thought about that. Indeed,
Well,
if you get a subsidy, that should be taken into account, because otherwise you're getting more money back, which feels a bit weird.
okay,
That's
it's just
true. Yeah,
just
I didn't think about it, so I'll ask them. Yeah, yeah.
just an irritating question of a legal
No, it's good.
person.
I'm writing it down
Definitely.
to see what if you get this subsidy. We
Yeah.
also actually we do have, like right now we do have also installed another system to because rent subsidy can only be for social housing, and we thought that's a bit unfair in a way that, for example, we have the smaller units. They're officially not social housing because they don't have their own toilet and their own kitchen, because it's shared, so then you cannot get the subsidy. So now we made an internal subsidy for people who are earning more than they well, not too much, but people who earn more, they give a bit of their money, and then we have an internal subsidy for people who are having these smaller rooms, who cannot get subsidy from the state. So we're trying to also find a way to do that internally.
Okay, let others go now. I will come back.
Hey, Maud and Pepe, go ahead.
Hi, hello, dankjewel. Thank you, Kim. I was just wondering, when was the time that you introduced holacracy to the group? And because of course, yeah, you need to also introduce the system, and yeah, how that went with you.
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, yeah, I made it in my presentation earlier, and we came up with it a bit later, to be fair. Because indeed, in the beginning, well, in the first 2 years, because we started as a collective, and we worked together before. We already had sort of a basis of working together and a lot of trust, which really helped us to be able to say, like, okay, you do this, you do that, we trust you, and go ahead. So we worked in this informal way of holacracy. And then during the building process, we started with the social architecture, and that was actually the moment. So that was in 2 years after we started, so 2021. That was the moment that we were doing research about different decision-making models and organization structures, because we felt we needed to have it a bit more formal, especially if new people are coming in and you don't know what the basis is that you're deciding on. So we started with that a bit later, and it actually took quite a while because we were so busy with everything that needed to happen, and at that moment to also learn a new way of how to structure your meetings, how to make decisions. It was quite a lot of work. The board wasn't able to switch at that moment to this new system, but some of the smaller groups did. But it took quite a while. But now we started, we're living here, and now we're a lot like the first year was still quite busy with ending things and things that didn't go well, but now we have more freedom to actually dive into it. But it was good that we already started during that phase. I think even it is nice if you start even earlier, that you can really use that as a guidelines if you don't have this organization to start with. It is nice, but I would also be aware that you don't stay too long in the moment of deciding upon how you're going to decide and meeting about that, because that can also slower the process in a way. So I would also, I'm really for the constructive and pragmatic side, especially in the beginning when you really need to start up your plans and your project. that long decisions about decision making can also be hard. So yeah, it really depends on the group with whom you're working with, if you feel enough trust, and otherwise it's really nice to have this as a tool.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. And also, I wanted to thank you, Hans, for bringing in all your questions, and so nice to hear that there's another initiative brewing in Rotterdam. I see many questions coming in. Let's see, Alex sent in quite a few questions. So cool that you're here, Alex, all the way from Australia. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, there's also someone. Where's Anke from the Czech Republic? So it's a very international group today. That's really cool. Let me see what Alex was saying. Alex had a few questions about or relating to the waste and the communal dinner. So Alex was wondering, are there any rules about waste? And how are the dinners organized?
Yeah, so sorry, I was also searching for the question, but now I didn't hear the first one about the waste. That was
Yeah, if there are any rules regarding waste.
no, not necessarily rules. We try to give also some freedom to the floors, because on every floor it's sort of a separate woongroep, like living community. So they can decide upon smaller details themselves. We do start it with composting in our garden. So we have compost bins there. They also fill up. So we're also still seeing like, how can we manage all the waste that we're producing with 50 people, because it's quite a lot of organic waste, for example, that you're producing. So we're also, it's also figuring out the best way of that, because composting takes a while before you can actually use it. So that's where we are now, to figuring that out. And about the communal dinners, that's also regulated on every floor. So actually every floor has they could decide themselves, but every floor decided upon to have a schedule that everyone cooks roughly once every 2 weeks. Then, for example, on Saturday and Sunday, there's not an official cook because people want to be free to be away. But on the other days, you have a scheduled evening, and then everybody can just sign up if you want to join dinner, or if you want to join dinner with 2 people, if there are some friends coming over. So that means that you can always have a late plate if you're first going sporting, and then have a dinner, or if you're feeling not so well, you just have a plate to go. So we're really open that it's not necessary to join the dinner. It's very free if you want to, but we find that a lot of people are joining it because it's just a very important moment of the community to eat together and to share food, which I find beautiful.
Yes, indeed.
That's actually every floor, and then we have every first Sunday of the month we eat with everyone from the building, sort of potluck downstairs, and that's also we called, actually, from a guy from Australia living here. He calls it a special dinner. That's also from a community he lived in Australia. They called it special dinner, and then they have updates about everything that's going on. So you can have an update about every circle who is doing what. So that's the potluck dinners. But besides that, it happens more often that when it's sunny, people are saying, let's all go eat in the garden, and then every floor mingles. Or if suddenly there's no cook on your floor, people ask, can I join another floor? So it's also very, it can mingle.
Yeah. And
Yes,
did I hear correctly? You were saying that you're living with 50 people now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, 50 people, and then we have right now 7 kids, and some pregnant people.
Yeah.
So they're becoming more inhabitants.
Cool. Yeah, I don't know if you saw the message of Alex because Alex was referring to that they used your project, the Wallen, as an example for what they are actually trying to build themselves.
Oh,
So
cool.
Alex was saying that they used it in their presentation as a global example of regenerative living. So that's
Whoa, cool.
pretty cool. A source of inspiration,
Yeah,
using many
yeah.
options.
I see other questions now as well. What's the age group of the
Yes.
people living there and how many families? Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of, so we gave the presentation during our launch event, and then all these people had those questions afterwards. And it was like, well, I don't know, because I couldn't find a website in English. There were
Oh,
just
good point.
articles that were in English, but I
Yeah.
couldn't not find anything more concrete. So I'm just passing on the questions, and I totally understand if we don't have time to go through all of them. I know
Okay, but
there
it's
are
good
couple
to
of
note that we
really
need to put this on the website, some things that are not translated or the practical things. Yeah.
Well, when you Google, like I now have your website, but yeah, when you Google, it doesn't, or at least I couldn't find it. Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Yeah. Shall I answer some more? Just quick. So yeah, so
From
the
Alex, you mean, or from the others?
oh yeah. No, I mean from Alex, the ones I saw here. So the age group, yeah. So we started as a friend group, which means that we're around the same age, a lot of us. So it's between 25 and 40. So, and when we started, there were 3 kids, so only 3 families, and in the first year there are 6 people pregnant, so it's the families are expanding. We have 12 family apartments, but you also have the studios, which still have possibilities of having a kid also, because there's a lot of playground in the building. So yeah, we really chose to make the family apartments and the private spaces a bit not too big, so that kids can also just go out and play. And the last one about the cleaning, we have a cleaner for the whole building. A woman who comes here twice a week, that's included in the rent, because we found out with former living together, that was one of the main agenda points on every house meeting, and we thought to just make sure that those struggles are not there to talk about every meeting. So yeah, that helps.
Thanks so much. That sounds amazing. And it's for the communal spaces.
Yeah, for the
you-
communal spaces. Yeah. Yeah. And just rough, like we actually have once a year. So this weekend we have a general cleaning with the whole building. So we're gonna do some cleaning behind everything, because the cleaning lady, she just does the general thing. But yeah.
Sounds perfect. Thank you so much.
Cool. Thank you. I see a
Cool.
hand from Hans.
Yeah, but before we go back to Hans, is it all right if I pick some questions that have been put in the chat? There's a question from Ferk. How are work controversies and conflicts resolved?
Work controversies?
No, how are, or in the past
Oh,
was solved the controversies and conflicts?
yeah. So, well, we didn't really have real conflicts during the beginning or building phase. I think, yeah, we were really lucky in that. I think one of our values really helped with that, the being pragmatic idealists in a way that we are idealistic, but we also really wanted to let the project happen and be realized. So the discussions about how you ideally see things happening, we try to be pragmatic about it and really see like, okay, but this is just right now we just need to make the decision, otherwise we won't get this money or something like that. So I think a lot of, that's really one of our values. So people try not to raise too much personal opinions about everything, and also just really think about the collective way forward. That helps a lot. And right now we during the building period, we set up these meetings about social architecture. So we also thought about conflicts, and we set up structure for mediation. We have a couple of people in the building who followed courses on mediation, and we set up like a sort of a ladder. So when there would be a conflict, we first have these people going to talk with people involved, and if that not happen, that we won't come to a solution, then we have different steps of going through the ladder if it's escalating. Luckily enough, that didn't happen, but we do have this process. It's in our house rules or something, so we know that these steps are being taken. And yeah, there are like some, like the first smaller conflict or issues we find right now are about sound. We realized that also important note actually about the wood that we're building, and the advices that we got about insulation are just different in practice than they are in idea. So yeah, you realize that you hear a lot more than you would expect. So people, because we also like to organize events and festivals, but there are also a lot of babies right now. So this is sort of the how many concerts or birthday parties, like 50 people's birthday party every weekend. So you can't have parties every weekend when there are babies around as well. So that's sort of the first, issue where we're getting into some mediation talks with people who have some struggles with that.
Can I ask something about this?
Yeah.
Do you also use tension rounds? Because I'm familiar with that within the holacracy model. Do you do it or not?
Yeah, so in the holacracy we do when you have like house meetings, you start indeed with tension rounds, and that's with the tensions that your agenda is being made. So then tensions already come up indeed. We don't have that with the general with the whole building yet. We did came up because we felt with holacracy that we use the holacracy to structure our ALVs, so our general member meetings with everyone. Those are structured by the holacracy model, but then we figured out that a lot of emotions are being taken out of the meetings so that it helps to make decisions. But we found out that we needed also a moment to share these emotions sometimes. So now we have a new model, which we call bubble baths. So yeah, we're also figuring it out. We had it twice now and then it's sitting it together, and then everything that bubbles up you can share. So that's more about the emotions. So yeah, we're also figuring out like where is a good space to talk with everyone or smaller groups. But this is what we found out. It is also important to be able to share that with everyone who wants to be there.
Yeah, cool.
And you do that before the general meeting?
We do it separate, otherwise it's like general meetings take 3 hours, and this is also a 2-hour thing. So
It's like maybe a couple weeks in advance or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you. I want to be a bit mindful about the time. We still have about 5 minutes left. So I don't think we have enough time to answer all of your questions, unless some of you or all of you would like maybe to stay in for 5 minutes longer. Maybe that's an idea. But to at least grab one question more out of the chat. There are quite some people that wonder how you can participate in the Warren and become one of the residents yourself.
Yeah, so we don't have any waiting list or something. We found that the many ways. So we have our website, and people can be part of the newsletter. With the newsletter, we will try to also share more of the agenda and the events that are happening. And I think that's the first step, to just come to events and get to know us. And when there's an open spot, it's actually the floors who are able to search for a new person. So we don't do that as a group, but we give it to the floor because those are the people who are eating and living together, see each other more often and share bathrooms and stuff. So they mainly reach out to their environment. We do have like a sort of checkup with the building, so that's like they can choose whoever they want, but then will be checked with the whole building if that person fits or if somebody has a personal history, like have a moment to share some things with that. But mainly, it's come around here. We're very open. Come hang out, drink some coffee, come to events, help organizing our parties, and then you will also be one of the first to know when there will be a spot open.
Cool.
Also, the events that we're having, like for on the 1st of June, we have our first year anniversary. So there's also sign up on the website. But we also really like it for the broader community to help out. Yeah, if you want to help out or to create a stage for everyone to do something. So then you also become part of the collective once you're once you're here. And we have like an internal communication platform, which is Discord, which is also divided. If you really want to be part of our group, you can also at a certain moment become part of that. It's not only people who are living here, but also the outside community to see more what's happening.
Yeah, I see that you see the chat too, right, Kim?
Yeah, I didn't look into all of that.
I think Nanook also raised a very interesting question about how well the woonkaps have changed since you started the Vara project, and what kind of opportunities and challenges you see on the road for new initiatives. I can imagine it's a very big question. Maybe there's a little thing you can share about that.
Well, the great thing is that really that the well, at least here in Amsterdam, there are a lot more plots of land available. Also, the process is getting a bit easier. So in the beginning for us, we needed to write a whole project plan and get our finances ready before we're even taken into account with the municipality. Now they made it a bit easier. So you don't have to do all this 3 months of work, and you just write a small proposal and you're part of like the kaartenbak, like you're in sort of their database. So that becomes easier. Also the finances in Amsterdam and in other places, you have more possibilities of getting subsidy for the first year, so the startup costs. I think challenges are, I think it's very important that I think once the municipality stated that around, I don't remember this amount, but a certain percentage, I think even 40,000 households or something, quite a lot in 2040 or something, they want to have in cooperative development. I think it's very important that we keep them to that promise in a way that actually going to happen. And I think for future groups, it's mainly giving promotion and having a good campaign, get your name out there, which really helps that to make it happen. That's what we realized, that once we were out there, municipality also thought like, oh, we can't let this fail because you're already out there in the newspaper, things are happening. So we wanted to go on. And also for future groups, what I said, like make sure that your internal organization structure is good, that you trust each other, and that you have responsibility shared, and maybe be really clear about what you can delegate to. So don't keep too much to the core group. If you can delegate more, do it. Yeah.
Thank you. I saw you raising your hand, Hans. I want to give you the last question before we will unfortunately have to get to the end of this gathering. So Hans.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. What an honor. The final question. And it is a kind of a social thing. Do you have any experience with neurodiversity, people with autism, ADHD? Seeing this huge group eating together can give a problem. I myself have ADHD and I can be overwhelmed by well, too much noise and too much impressions. I thought, did it come up or is it just not happening in your groups?
Well, like we do have a lot, well, a bit different, but still like a lot of people who are struggling also with some mental problems, like some burnout, some overworked. So people are like sensitive for a lot of things happening for sure. So we do give like eating together with groups. That's why it's not that you need to do it. It's not obliged or anything. Everything is super free to join or not join if you want. Also to cook and just have your food in your own room if you want, to be really flexible about that. Also people are a bit more introvert who don't really want to join in these huge gatherings. So it depends. Some floors are also a bit smaller. Some families eat alone. So it's, there's a lot of different options. And actually what I found in the beginning, I was also even a bit anxious. And I think more people like, oh, we're going to live with 50 people. Oh my God, how can I be so social all the time? That's just crazy. And actually I found out that it's, for me, it's way easier than living with, like before I lived with 10 people, that's also quite a lot even, but then we shared everything. And now there are a lot of people like have the option to share or not share, because I have my own bathroom, my own kitchen, so I can also close the door and just don't come out if I don't want to. But also because the building is actually super big, it's not so busy. It's way more quieter than I thought, because we have so many different spaces where you can read a book or sit or hang or watch a movie. It's not that all the 50 people are all together all the time. So in the main room you can read your newspaper and there's a paper and there's only another person with a laptop and that's it. So it's actually, when you have so many shared spaces, you also feel that people are just floating everywhere and it doesn't feel crowded all the time.
Yeah, thank you very much, because this is really very good what you say. I understand it immediately now that you mention it. A smaller group is more close and more sharing everything, and it feels like an intrusion in your introversion. And a bigger group you can participate but stay kind of anonymous or not too much involved.
Exactly. Yeah, you can really choose it, because it's also not, if you don't participate, it doesn't make that the group falls apart.
Great. Thank you very much for this inspiration.
Great. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for that beautiful final question, Hans, and everyone else for joining and participating. And thank you, Kim, for being such an inspiration for everyone here, and I think many, many more. And making the time to share your story and journey here, which is still going on and will continue for much more time to come. I think there will be more questions, but maybe it will be time then to visit Kim and all the others sometime in Amsterdam.
I could also I could also look in the chat and just answer them if it's still here. If we close it, or how does it work? Does it disappear?
You mean if we end the meeting?
Yeah, I just thought that if there are questions here that I wasn't able to answer now, if I could just write them.
Would it
the next 10
maybe,
minutes?
I don't know if that would be
People won't see
too
it anymore.
intrusive. Maybe people can send them their no?
Okay. No.
I see Sophie nodding no. Yeah, the chat is gone after. Okay, I want to say goodbye to some people that are leaving now. For the others who have not left yet, this has been one of the learning sessions of the spring season. There's also a next one coming up, which will be in June. today we've been talking about community building on a more like local scale. The next one will be about will be on a bioregional level, fostering living cultures in bioregions, a project in the Veluwe. So in case you're curious, check out our website to see more about that one and all the other activities that will be coming up this coming month. Yeah, I can imagine, Alex. It's very late over there. What else? What else? Bye, Hans.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm reading also the chat with Maya from the cooperative is saying the 18th of May. Thank you. I didn't mention that before.
Mm.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's time.
Mhm.
And thank you again so much, Kim.
Yeah, thank you for organizing and letting me share things.
Yeah, excited to
Great.
see how things will continue for you. And for now, enjoy the fruits of all your work and labor and living over there.
Thanks. We will.
Thank you, all the others, and hope to see you at the next one of our action days or learning sessions. And yeah, in case you want to rewatch it, this session and others have been recorded. So on YouTube, we have a page at the Regeneratie Coöperatie where you can rewatch at least the learning sessions. So hope to see you again, and until next time, and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Oh, ik weet niet hoe ik ernaar uit moet.
Zo.
Stop je
Dankjewel.
Oh, dat was even het. Er
nu.
was nog zoveel wens volgens mij om verder te gaan, dat ik dacht, oh jee.
Nou, maar volgens mij was het ook goed. Er waren ook al mensen allemaal weggegaan, volgens mij vanzelf. Ja,
Ja.
maar nou,
Ja,
dank
het-
jullie wel.
het is- Ja, dankjewel Kim.
Ja, heel leuk om het te
Vast.
doen. Ik had geen idee hoe lang het allemaal zou gaan duren. En ik had nog niet eerder zo'n lange prestatie. Maar ik hoop dat het een beetje een overview gaf van alles.
Ja, zeker. Het is
Fijn.
ook echt een gigantische onderneming. Dus dat snap ik helemaal. Dat daar, ja, je wilt van alles, iedereen van elk stukje een beetje meenemen.
Ja,
Eh,
ja. Er
ja.
zijn 100 dingen waar je nog meer over kan vertellen. Maar dan...
Ja.
Nou,
Ja.
leuk. Dank jullie wel ervoor. En veel succes met de volgende dingen. Heel leuk om te horen wat jullie allemaal doen.
Ja, thanks.
Super gaaf. Ja, echt interessante onderwerpen. Kijken of
Leuk.
ik bij de volgende kan aanhaken.
Ja, dat zou leuk zijn.
Heel leuk. Oké, dank jullie wel.
Alright.
Dankjewel.
Fijne dag.
Dankjewel.
Doeg.